Ads will be starting now.
Hello, welcome everyone and all once again to my stream. YouTube is on, Twitch is up, it all looks fine. Ah, there you go. Now, we are going to, hold on. We're going to do something special today. Well, special and special. Well, first we're going to review and check out the gameplay reviews of the Dragon Age game. There you go. Now, it has come to my attention from watching some of the reviews and also just checking the what's the name, correct name, sphere of gamers out there and the reviewers, that the opinions are very, very much split. And so this will be a very interesting review. Because how will we like the game? How will I like the game? How will you like the game if you are planning to play it? Right? And this is a valid question. And honestly, the best thing you can do right now, whether you're watching me or someone else live, no matter what they give the game... Sorry if my throat is a little rough. No matter what score they give the game, what outlet gives the... reviews the game to score, take it with like a half pinch of salt and keep in mind that it's all subjective. Because in this day and age, it's kind of like we are not allowed to... Like, games are either super bad or super good, in many cases. And you're not allowed to feel somewhere in the middle. It has to be either negative or it has to be bad. And also, with all the clickbait and rage bait and all that stuff people like to do these days to get better reviews and analytics on their channels and on the internet in general, it doesn't help. Negativity sells. Man, sorry about that. And yeah, so I don't know yet. Like, we are gonna watch a couple of minutes of including the conclusions of some of the reviews, just the random reviews I took. One is IGN. Another is Eurogamer, we got Mortimer, we have SkillUp, and we have Matti. What was his full name again? I didn't want... Mr. Matti Plays. And we have, I guess... Well, I can see if I can find one more negative, but it's 3 positives and 2 very negative reviews, basically, which is... This is really fascinating because... Usually they lean towards the same thing. Well, yes, indeed, my friend. So I'm very, very curious to see how I will like this game. Some people, how are you doing, sir? I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking, my good friend. Some people have said the writing and story is abysmal, and some have said it's incredibly good for the Dragon Age game, so I really don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see for sure. And then when we are done with this, we will go over and try Monster Hunter Wilds demo that is out now on our very soon. I think it's right now on PlayStation and will be so for like 2 days, and then will be go on PC and Xbox on the 31st, and will then be available to play for free for everyone from today to the 4th of November, I believe. So we're gonna try that. Because originally I was gonna wait with the demo. I was gonna wait with the Monster Hunter demo to play it until after I'd started Dragon Age, because I wanted to just do it on PC, max frames, all that goodness. But I kind of thought, you know what, I have lots of time now to just try the demo out and chill, and if I want to play more, I can restart on PC. I don't know if the save transfers over to PC. But yeah, why not? But first, we're gonna watch some reviews. Let's start with the classic IGN review. Remember, always take it with a pinch of salt, whether it's good or bad, and you have to make your own opinion on it. And the only thing these reviews usually do is tell you a direction in which certain elements of a game hit people, and it's your job to know if a certain person doesn't or does like certain things in the game, where you stand compared to that person. And that's way easier by doing it for single people, like YouTubers who are only usually like one person reviewing instead of like publications like IGN. But I'm still gonna just watch the conclusion and then move on.
Dragon Age the Veilguard refreshes and reinvigorates a storied series that stumbled through its middle years and leaves no doubt in my mind that it deserves its place in the RPG pantheon. The next Mass Effect is going to have a very tough act to follow, which is not something I ever imagined I'd be saying before I got swept away on this adventure.
It's good to have goals in life.
Enjoyable action combat, a fantastic cast of allies with sweeping story arcs all their own, top-notch cinematics, and moving, nuanced character writing are the wings on which this triumphant dragon soars.
I will admit two things just before we watch the rest of this. One, IGN, shame on you. You should be able to do 4K 60 videos. Even if you have 1080p base, you can at least scale it up, transcode it up to 4K, and we will at least get higher bitrate. It will look a little bit better. Yeah, with the audio, you mean with the voice, or like... Yeah, exactly. He sounds like he has like a gun or something to his head, or just like a bad mic, I don't know. He doesn't sound happy, is what I would say, even though everything he's telling is like fantastic.
Stops in a whirlwind tour of Northern Thedas, and capping it with a terrific finale that's built on memorably tough choices and consequences. Yeah. If we never get another Dragon Age, at least it got to go out on a high note.
Even if that means our world has to burn.
For more.
Yep. So and that's IGN's review. And we're gonna go basically straight down the toilet and watch someone else's review, and they are not happy with this game at all. Like talking through his notes, and the game audio is being recorded from a speaker. It is very like, I will admit, I've been really disappointed these last few years with IGN. I understand that multiple people have different criteria for, or not criteria, but like they have different opinions on games, and so it can look like they have widely different opinions on certain games, which doesn't make sense because one game is clearly worse than another. And there is some issues I have with the way they handle what score they give games. But there is a lot of different people that work there, so you have to take that in mind. But honestly, like I said earlier, IGN and like everyone, do 4K 60. You are a big publication with millions. You have the hardware. You have, like, you should be able to give your reviewers a better GPU, or like have like a stock streaming / recording PC with like a capture card like that every reviewer has. So you can like do just pure offload the whole capture thing and get like true 4K. Or at least high quality 1440p. Like seriously. I've heard they get paid to do reviews for them stuff and then give it a better score. Not sure how much truth it is to that. I have a feeling that if this happened a lot, we would hear it all the time and it would leak. Publications as big as IGN and GameSpot and such, this would leak. Like their reputation would be over immediately. And we only hear it sometimes, right? So I feel like it might have happened and it might still happen in certain scenarios, but I feel it's less that they get paid to do the reviews. And and more that they are just afraid that they will be blacklisted from getting reviews or getting review codes. Honestly, that alone would not surprise me if they then gave it like a score or two higher than what they personally like. Let's say standard is if they give it like a 4, they always just take a score point up and give it a 5 or 6, right? Yeah, I feel it's less that I get paid because it will be all over way more than it is. And I mean, IGN would be over at that point. I at least that's what I feel. I feel it's much more just fair of getting blacklisted because that I know is a thing from what lots of YouTubers and content creators and just people have told that works in the industry. As an example, I watched a little bit of Luke Stevens' live stream earlier today, and he mentioned that there was a rumor going on that people who had talked extensively or reviewed in a negative light games like Concord, games like what was that game that came early this year? Not Arkham, in the Arkhamverse, DC game that got absolutely screwed over. Like it came in February, I think, or January. Justice League, right? No, not Justice League. Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad game. People who talked and reviewed those games. Yeah, Suicide Squad, Concord, and there was some other game, I think, who had reviewed or just talked negative about those games a lot. Was basically did not get codes for Dragon Age, and apparently he had verified on multiple, at least 2 places, instances where they had been told the same thing from like different people inside of EA. So this was not BioWare, this was EA that did this. That this was like one of the criteria you had, and there was also another one where there was very few keys going around, which that is not suspicious. I will be fair because, as an example, they had very few keys apparently for God of War Ragnarok. Was a game that had very few keys. So if you have those 2 barriers of entry, you have few keys, so you have to like prioritize them to people, and you also have like if they talk negative about these certain games, you're not going to get a key. Then I can understand why certain people did not get a review code, basically, and will have to wait, either getting an early access code in these next few days or have to buy the game themselves. So yeah, it's very interesting. Let's watch a little bit, like not all, it's 40 minutes long, but like a few minutes of Mythomasters plays.
There's no
review.
easy way to start this review. There are fantasy options aplenty. Metaphor Refantasio. Elden Ring just got its Shadow of the Erdtree expansion earlier this year. There was also Dragon's Dogma 2. And right now, AAA gaming is going through a massive, massive change where big companies like Bethesda Game Studios, BioWare, Ubisoft really have their back against the wall, and they're not quite the heroes of gaming that they maybe once were. Whereas companies like Larian Studios and CD Projekt Red have solidified themselves as top dogs in the RPG genre, thanks to projects like Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, The Witcher 3, and so on. There are many great developers rising up in the RPG genre, like Warhorse Studios with Kingdom Come Deliverance. So there's many options beyond the ones that we used to know and love, and BioWare is in a very desperate position. I've covered this game for years, since it was formerly known as Dreadwolf. Before that, it was very much just an idea on paper, and we were talking about it. I was very excited to see what BioWare could bring to the table. But unfortunately, after playing Dragon Age the Veilguard, it is one of the most disappointing games I've played in a while. I don't want to say ever, because I don't want to get too much hyperbole in here, but the emotions I experienced throughout this review process was unlike anything I've ever gone through before. It was strange, man. I'm going to keep it real. Like, it was saddening as the realization set in hour by hour how much this game had let me down. I've had the game for about 2 weeks, put over 50 hours into it, finishing the main story, all of the companion missions, and a bulk of the remaining side content. I'm at 72% of the way to the Platinum Trophy if you need a reference for how much of this game I've cleared off. but I'm not going to bury the lead any further. You're probably as surprised as I am to be hearing me say these things, but no single game has made me go through the string of emotions this one has, because its characters evolve as little as its gameplay. The mistakes made with plot pacing are innumerable. All of the real high-impact choices are baked into the final 2 hours of the game, making them feel really minimal in the scheme of things. Past Dragon Age games matter little here if your 3 available choices
That's a big negative for me.
taught you anything before
This
one,
point.
and I'll detail that one later. And last but definitely not least is the line delivery and writing quality are at times embarrassingly low, even for those who have sworn off BioWare for years and are not like me and have continued to play their games and look forward to them. So
That's the thing, right? The priorities are messed up in some of the bigger studios. They lose sight of making a quality game. Even take something like the Worshippers of Cthulhu. I was playing, well made and getting great reviews. Wait. Even take something like that Worshippers of Cthulhu I was playing, well made and getting great reviews. I'm probably being a dummy here, but I didn't understand that last part. The smaller developers are just putting out better quality. Yeah, I agree. There is more risk taking and more creativity. I can't talk apparently. In a lot of the smaller developers, because they can, and also because they are like they. I think that plagues AAA gaming these days is like there is so many people who are putting things that has no part, or no, that's not wrong. That has no business being inserted into a game where it doesn't make sense. And two, they are afraid of like doing certain things. Like if they don't do, they are afraid because it like making AAA games costs so insanely much money. They know they have to like at least win some of the money back, which is why you see so much microtransaction, so much like emphasis on just making remakes and sequels. Yeah, and you kind of get a lot of the new modern games are, well, they have interesting things and stories, and there is quality things you don't get in indie games, or things you can get in AAA you don't get in indie games. Usually story writing these days and like just quality of pushing the limits of certain genres. You don't find that in AAA games these days, right? The publisher is like the film studio telling the director, the developer, what they expect them to do and by when, rather than just letting them be creative. Then you get hit and miss games. Yes, certainly there are AAA games that have really like Baldur's Gate as an easy example, right? Or Elden Ring, where you're like, okay, this is a big AAA game. They did it right. And Cyberpunk didn't start that way, but it had the bones of like a very good game, and they basically did everything they could outside of just remaking the whole game, and stuff like that, right? But you might not get cinematic masterpieces like from God of War in the small indie studio, because yes, exactly, like there's limits to it indie stuff, certainly, but they also do great stuff. It's like if you have a cake, right, and you have different layers, and the innermost layers, like the innermost layers are like the meat, like the real, weird saying meat when I'm talking about a cake, but like it's a thing, right? It's like the story, the plot, like the thing that makes you really care, all that stuff, and then you have all the glaze on top and all the berries and whatever you put on the cake, right? All of that is like graphics and like cinematics and like animations, and basically the thing that's going to really cost. And yeah, AAA makes the outside, makes it look really great, while indie, not always of course, but indie makes the inside. They lean towards like the inside and the outside, depending on AAA or indie, and it's a shame. And this one looks like very decisive, this game. and I'm very interested when I'm gonna play it on the 31st to see how I'll find it. Because I know for a fact that many times, like, we can. Matty is basically just saying, I don't want to watch all his whole review because, I just don't like watching the whole reviews for other people. And Skill Up says basically the same thing. He does not recommend the game. And then you have, for example, Mortismal Gaming, which I like all these three. Mr. Matty, Skill Up, and Mortismal. I usually follow all three of them. Not on this channel, but my other one. And I look at the reviews. And I take, like, I know for a fact I like Mortismal for his he always does 100% of every game he does. Like, he never does a review as far as I know. Before he's like 100% platinum the game. So he gets the whole thing. He never only does the story, the main path. And then you have, as an example, these Mr. Matty and Skill Up. I very many times, what is even that word? Very many times. A lot of time I find them insightful, and they have good points. But there's also times where I don't agree with what they're saying, and so it's hard for me to really put a point on, because many of these mention both similar but also different things that they didn't really like. Eurogamer gave it a 5 out of 5, so basically a 10 out of 10 game. And kind of funny, I watched a little bit of their live stream when they started, and they basically said, like, all 3 or 4 of them said that this was like the lowest score, I think was like 8.5. And so you have this thing where, like,
starting now.
You have to, like, navigate where does your opinion fall compared to their opinion, right? And honestly, this is a really tough one, because some people are saying the story is good, and which I trust, and some other people are saying, like Scrap is saying, it's shit. And there is certainly cases where a game just doesn't hit you. It doesn't. It can be good for some people, but for others, it just doesn't hit you, and that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means it wasn't for you. And I don't know yet where I fall in that camp. So, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. That's for sure. Let's watch a little bit more of Mr. Mattis.
This is really tough because it does me no pleasure in back-to-back reviews to sit down talking about some of my favorite game developers ever who have made defining video games for me in Bethesda Game Studios and now BioWare, and not just deliver a negative review or a dissatisfied review, but something relatively scathing, especially in BioWare's case when you consider the situation with their studio and how important the success of Dragon Age: The Veilguard is to their company's future. Still, all those memories, all those great games that defined me as a player, as a person even, have to come second to always being honest. And I'll get very much heavily into the thick of things here, but I think the first question you may have, and it's a totally fair one, is, wait, your preview was like really positive, Maddie. Like, what's the difference between this and your preview? Like, didn't you see enough then? So for starters, extended exposure to an issue will do that to you. 6 hours is really different to like 55. But
this
secondly,
is true.
BioWare and EA were not fully honest about the framing of this preview. As stated in my preview, what we played was across 5 save files under the definition of the first act, with 2 more to go in the rest of the game. Now, I walked away very excited thinking, man, if this is the first act, imagine what they can bring for acts 2 and 3. Then I got the full game. I entered my 20th hour, still not at the end of Act 1, what I experienced in the preview. 30th hour, still hadn't reached where my preview ended. It wasn't until the 35th hour that I had hit this stretch of the game that was defined as Part 9. Now, Maddie,
that's a
why
good
does
first
all this
act.
matter? You've previewed a number of games before. Well, effectively, what EA and BioWare showed us, and in turn you, was a highlight reel of parts 1 through 9 in Dragon Age: The Veilguard, and there are 14 in total in the game. And
Okay, so they have acts, but they also have parts? I don't get it.
I would not personally define parts 1 through 9 of any 14-part story as a first act. That is almost, if not more than 75% of the main story on display, including.
Okay, so basically it feels like they extended the start of the game immensely, and then it climaxes about 75% into the game, and it's basically one big like thing from there. So maybe story consistency or just like overall consistency is in how it's told is not the best. That's not a good thing. Let's see what
pick up a new skill, or just learn more about things like science, math, engineering.
Let's see what
computer science,
Skill
and so
Obsessed in the
much
first
more,
few minutes.
thanks to Brilliant's accessible and interactive courses. Try everything Brilliant has to offer for free for 30 days and get 20% off an annual subscription by visiting brilliant.org/skillup. Click the link below to get started, or stick around to the end of the video to learn more. I want to begin this review the same way I did my Final Fantasy 16 review, which is to say that reviews are opinions. This is my opinion and my opinion only. I expect that there will be a broad range of opinions on Dragon Age the Veilguard, and I encourage you to seek them out. I do not have a monopoly on truth. As I've said many times before, I'm just a nerd with a microphone and a YouTube account. My opinion is no more or less valuable than anybody else's.
And that is why I respect SkillUp a lot on these things. He's upfront about it. And that's also why, just because he says the game is bad or good in other cases, that you can't just take that for a game being good or bad. You have to know where you lay in certain subjects compared to his. And you also have to realize that just sometimes, even if you align yourself, like if his and your opinions are very similar, sometimes games and media doesn't hit the same, even when you have similar tastes. So yeah, as an example, I wasn't fan of his Final Fantasy 16 review. I didn't agree. But like I've agreed on other reviews of his earlier, so yeah.
Okay, all right. So Dragon Age the Veilguard is a colossal disappointment. I really can't put it any other way. I spent 50 hours playing this, and it was time I desperately wished that I could get back. I started having my doubts at around the 10-hour mark. I was thoroughly checked out at the 20-hour mark, and the remaining 30 hours were just excruciatingly painful as I was forced to suffer through the endless morass of banality that is Dragon Age the Veilguard. In many ways, Veilguard is a bigger disappointment than Anthem was. Like if I...
Okay, that's... You have to back that statement up.
To hand LeBron a tennis racket, I'd expect to see some pretty shitty tennis. BioWare never had any business making...
I will admit, Anthem, just before we continue, Anthem had great, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, the gameplay was, well, not gameplay, but like the base gameplay of like controlling and the differences between the mech armor was great. They goddamn nailed it. The story was shit. And basically everything else was shit. It has had nothing except like a couple of missions. It was cool doing it. It was cool concept, but like if they had reworked the whole story, added like a whole endgame with lots of different crafting things, like expanded way more on all the different things, it could have been a great game, but it was cut short.
Making a looter shooter, and so when Anthem flopped, its failure was easily explained, easily reconciled. But if I hand LeBron a basketball, I expect to see some fucking points on the board, and it's impossible to imagine a bigger home court advantage than this for BioWare. The Dragon Age franchise, one of their most beloved and most successful, no pressure from EA to cram in all sorts of live service bullshit like it was meant to have at one point, but they pivoted away from that years ago. There's no in-game cash shop here. There was obviously plenty of development time and budget.
That's very good. Cash shops should not be in a single player
game without any compromises and without any excuses. In no way, shape, or form did BioWare meet the moment and capitalize on the opportunity that was handed to them. Dragon Age the Veilguard apes the most superficial elements of a BioWare game, making no effort to modernize what is a now fairly dated formula, while delivering absolutely none of the writing, characterization, and imagination that made its previous games so great. The writing is frankly terminal. It lacks any nuance or wit or wisdom. It cannot communicate ideas except to say them aloud to the camera. It manufactures petty, unbelievable tension because it doesn't know how to create anything more real, and it's too scared to ever be truly confronting or dark.
That is a common thread I see in lots of modern games.
For
Yeah.
fear that it might make the audience uncomfortable. Every interaction between the companions feels like HR is in the room, and every interaction
Oh god, that's actually a great line. Every interaction feels like HR is in the room. Like, yeah, that. I mean, you could say that about it, not just this. Well, haven't played it yet, but like, you can say that about a lot of games these days. It's like every time the writers are writing something, oh, let's see what we're gonna do, and they're trying to like, oh, HR just, excuse me, you can't do that. So, not good.
led by the main character, Rook, sounds like he's addressing an under-12 soccer team before a semi-final, or teaching toddlers how to properly share toys. The way you build relationships with your companions is so woefully outdated. Drawn-out quest lines completely divorced from the main plot, starring disposable villains and recycling the same settings, enemies, and bosses you find elsewhere. The romance system feels equally antiquated, heavily reliant on the "will bang okay" button, even when it
I don't have if you have a problem with that, then you have a problem with Baldur's Gate 3, and I didn't have a problem. So that's not a negative from my part. But yeah, it's negative. Let's see what Mortismal Gaming says in his conclusion.
As a conclusion, the base game of Dragon Age the Veilguard is $60 US, and for that price, I think you're getting a great game that does a lot of things really, really well. That makes it, as
Completely
far as I'm
understood.
concerned, the best entry in the series, and frankly, my own personal game of the year. So probably...
Yeah. That's, I did not expect Game of the Year.
Probably needless to say at that point, I'm absolutely giving this one a buy. I think you should check it out. I think it's very good. And while I acknowledge that continual shift in direction from the original game isn't going to be for everybody, this is still a great game. And that is where I'm going to leave off this particular review. So
It's very fun because, I watched a little more Mortimal Gaming's review, and he basically said that the combat was awesome. He didn't really know much about the companions, so that isn't like something he could really wade in. He thought they were passable, but it's not his thing, right? And so he didn't have any problems with it, and he has been critical of games before. I know when I watched some of his reviews, and both agreed and disagreed. So, man, it's really fascinating to see. I'm so curious. Like, I am probably a little bit afraid of this game is going to get review bombed because of Vogue and, you know, all that stuff. Doesn't really matter if everyone, even if Skill Up and everyone gave it a 10 out of 10, it would still get review bombed. So that will hide, I think, a little bit of the true score, but I do hope when people get it into their hands and, like, people have played it for a couple of days, that we can start to see how it is. And Eurogamer gave it 5 out of 5 also. Though, again, that's a publication, so you should take that with an even bigger bucket of salt, just like IGN. Basically. Let's see. If I go to the Reddit for Dragon Age, I'm wondering just what do people... It's usually like a general review mega thread. Let's see. You can usually find more reviews. Yeah. It seems like one person is actually saying here, it is almost like what ticks people really off about this game is either you like the combat or you don't, and the rest, basically the story, the cutscenes, the characters, is very much like it's very PG for a lot of people, or at least that's what I feel, which is also what I felt about Starfield. It was very sterile. It had some good things, but like lots of it was sterile. So we'll see. And also, I have had this feeling about Star Wars the Outlaw, or not the Outlaw, Star Wars Outlaws. It was very PG friendly, even though I liked it. So I feel like if the biggest issues are basically the problems, some of the problems I and also people had with Star Wars Outlaws, outside of how the combat is going to feel for me, I have a feeling I will probably have like an okay time with this. I saw Kind of Funny too. Had like good thoughts to say. They all had like 8+ on a scale of 1 to 10. So yeah, it's interesting. It's very interesting. What do you think, Aaron? It's very split down the middle. And people, for some people, the combat didn't hit. For others, it did. People are calling it. Some people are calling it Game of the Year, and others are calling it like just a travesty. What do you get out of that? It's very much like you don't really know what to feel, right? Yeah, I don't know. I tend to really hold judgment until I play. Because I played a lot of games with bad reviews on Steam and enjoyed them. Yeah, I am the same thing. Like, all reviews are basically just, if you have like 1,000 reviews and like 999 of them are saying it's bad, it's probably bad. Like, at that point, it's like, it's in general bad condition. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's, that you won't like it, right? So, there we go. The same thing is happening in the Steam discussions right now with Arc Raiders, which is not secret. You can go read if you want. Dude, Steam discussions are toxic, though. That's like, I never go to Steam usually to see what people think, because it's absolutely horrible. It's worse than Reddit, and Reddit's like, it's a worse echo chamber than Reddit, and Reddit's a bad echo chamber. Some subreddits are good, but like most of them are like, it's just regurgitating the same thing all over again, 1,000 times. Apparently, Arc Raiders isn't going to be free to play anymore either. Honestly, yeah, I think that is a good thing, even though I haven't played the game, because it's gonna there's gonna be way less cheaters and bots in this game. Then it's gonna cost you if you try and cheat and get banned. And it also means they have less incentive, like less to that. I can't talk today. They have less reason to like monetize it out of the ass. There's probably definitely going to be some monetization, but now at least they can get some of the cost back by people buying the game. My concern is how to handle the PvP, because originally it was PvE, but now it's both. Do we have a release year or date? Because like, if they haven't really given us that, then they will still have time to like figure this out. Give us like another beta test. Get it open maybe next year. Yeah. They want people to make the decision to help or attack other players, but of course everyone in the game is shoot on sight, no question asked. I mean, that's the usual thing, right? It's very much... It's very much... it's very like you can't trust people. Kind of like how Daisy is when you get new people. Yep. Okay, so I need to do one thing, and that is... Sound is great and all, but I need to... Well, now it's going double. Okay, I know what's going on. We'll do this. We'll just remove alerts for now. Okay, let's actually just change over and get the title, or the game title, to be Monster Hunter. Yep, Monster Hunter Wilds. Here we go. Oh man, I can't wait to try this out. But yeah, this I am excited. I'm actually more excited now to play Dragon Age than I was yesterday, because I'm just really curious how will I find a game. So yeah, it's gonna be very cool. Let's go. Beta demo thing happens now. Crap, that's right. Elf warning. No saved data exists. Creating a new save. Oh. English. What? Just a minute. English, let's try again. English. Isn't it on right now? Am I the weird one for not? Hold on. Demo time. In your time zone. Oh wait. It's not out yet. It's tomorrow. I thought it was today. Hold on. No wait. Yeah, it is 28th. I'm gonna double check. Maybe I read it wrong. Yeah, it's not today. God damn, I saw the wrong time. That sucks. It's 4 a.m. tonight. The demo starts, and so I can play from tomorrow. Oh well, it's 8 p.m. in America. That's where I took the time wrong. Oh well, rip. I have at least pre-downloaded, so it's all nice and dandy. Rest mode. Yeah. Just re-input the monitor to. There you go. Yeah, we'll take that and just chatting. Rip. Well, it is what it is. So, how's your day been going here? All fine, I hope? Your Monday. Yeah, been busy. Work and stuff. I'm guessing you're gonna start marketing or are marketing right now Dragon Age, right? Or have you maybe already done, already done with all that? Ah, we don't work with EA. Okay. They probably have their own publishing or channels or whatever. We used to? But they decided against doing third-party markets. Okay, yeah, so they're doing in-house. Okay. I've just been trying out the different designs from Avatar. Yeah, you sent me some good ones yesterday. Yeah, I really like those you made for me. I just need to get my ass up and redo the rest of my stuff. And also, I kind of want to change my whole... I want to keep it a Raven, but like I want to change intro and outro and waiting and all that stuff. That's a bigger job. I'm as always sticking with what I already have. Less is more, as always. Nice. That is true. Yup. Yeah, the Lighthouse Man, let me know if you want me to change font or anything. I like them. Yeah, if I want to do some stuff like that, I'll talk to you, but for now I think I'm just gonna keep what I have and change. I want to do like a whole... I need to save up some money and see if I can get someone to like personally make some stuff for me. Because like we have... Let's see if I can find it. I'm going to go to Twitch, I actually think. Oh, do we have... Oh, there we go. I need to go to this guy and then I need to go... Videos, past broadcasts. Like this is essentially something I would like, not specifically this, but like this type of thing.
Yeah.
Like animation in the background, maybe not like specifically this, but like some sort of version of this is what I want. So, also I just reminded myself I need to... That'd be cool. Yup. I need to do something here. Hold on. There you go. Yeah. So, I need to get someone who can make, like, do it like this and talk with them and see how much it costs. And I want like an intro, waiting screen and an outro, basically. That's probably gonna cost some money. It also looks like, at least for Dragon Age, a lot of the things people are saying is basically I mean, I told this earlier, but like you're basically forced to be kind of the hero. You can be a hero like a dick, I think, but like you still have to be a hero. Yeah, okay, that sucks. I was kind of hoping for finishing the stream with some Monster Hunter, but that's tomorrow. Oh god. Oh wow, they did Dorian dirty. I just got spoiled a picture. How a certain guy from Inquisition. I'm not gonna show it. But oh man, they did him dirty. Rip. Yeah, look how they massacred my boy. That meme fits perfectly. Wow. Okay, I need to get off. I need to get off the Reddit. Same here. Well, so I'm looking at the restream right now. Oh, why? I've tried before and it works fine, but like the problem is you're basically forced to have the same quality. If they've changed something recently, then that's reason. But like when I did it, used it last, you were kind of forced to just have the same quality on Twitch and YouTube. So the whole point of like doing multi-stream and having a better quality just fell away. Yeah, okay. I mean, in that case, then do restream, and you don't only have to do one stream, and then it will split. So I would just do it. You will be locked to like low bitrate on YouTube too, though. That's the negative, I guess. That's true negative, even. You are still locked at Twitch bitrate because you can't have different bitrates. But hey, if it does what you want, it does what you want. That's the most important part. Yeah, I'm just gonna go out to the Reddit. I'm not gonna visit that Reddit or read anything more except maybe some opinions on from certain people on the game. I'm gonna try and go in as neutral as possible. But if I set the bitrate higher, will it adjust Twitch automatically? No. That's the problem. At least as far as when I did it last, it might have been changed. But when I did it last, you set a bitrate and it will send that bitrate, split it and send that bitrate to both Twitch and YouTube. And so that was the problem. I couldn't have high bitrate 1080p at that time and low bitrate Twitch, or what Twitch allows max, because YouTube allows you to go up to like 20 or 30k, I think, on 1080p, right? Or maybe even it's 55k actually bitrate, whereas Twitch you are stuck to 6 and you can go up to 8, but at that point it might start buffering for some people and you will not get transcoding at all if you go over 6. So that's the negative. That's why I ended up not using Restream and used like a plugin, so I send multiple streams instead, because I have the upload. So I just need a little bit of the transcode power and I have it with my 2-piece setup. Technically, your GPU, I believe you're 3090, right? I believe you have, is it 2 or 4? Yeah, 3. No, that's the max. I think it's 2 or 3. You can transcode streams because you have like transcoding engines or whatever it's called, or encoding engines, I don't remember right now, on your GPU. So you should easily be able to do multiple encodes without problems. So that shouldn't be the problem. If you want to use the thing I use, if you search for item multistream, or just item, and you will both find their vertical plugin and their multistream plugin. And I'll just use that. I use the one in OBS for Twitch, so I can get enhanced broadcasting feature, which basically allows me to automatically send out like up to 10k bitrate and transcode up to like 4 or 5 bit streams. So I always get transcoding on Twitch, and then I send like a separate with item to YouTube, and I send like, I think it's like 40 something or something around there. But that's, I have the internet. I think you two have it, so it should. Item, no, item. A-I-T-U-M. Item. I can search right here. Hold on. Item. Use that plugin, or the multiple plugins, but use the multi-stream one. That's, as far as I can see, the best multi-stream plugin. I was using some weird one. Do you use OBS Studio or Streamlabs? OBS. Never use Streamlabs. It takes more resources. Like, it looks prettier and it's easier if it's your first time doing this. But in truth, never use, I believe, Streamlabs. Yeah, never use Streamlabs. Because they actually took code like without permission or something. Or I've done stuff that is really nasty towards OBS people. So, and it's also OBS is just lighter, so it's just better overall. Yeah, I used it in the very beginning, then I changed. Well, yep, that's, I think I did the same actually. I think I started with Streamlabs because it looked easier. It had more features built in. But at some point I just, no, I'm not going to use it anymore because I heard bad stuff, and also it took more performance out of my PC to run. And this was when I had a one PC setup, so performance was really important. So I went to OBS. Yeah. StreamerBot is amazing. Yep, I'm using it right now. I'm using both StreamerBot and SpeakerBot. Very nice. I've just started setting myself into it. I haven't really done my due diligence and like really learned the ins and out, but it's like an insanely powerful tool. I've just like skimmed the surface of what that program can do. So yeah, it's definitely something to keep using, that's for sure. Oh well. You know what? Because it didn't happen like I wanted to, I'm gonna honestly just take the evening off. I got some stuff to do anyways. So we'll reconvene tomorrow and I will play some Monster Hunter Wilds demo. I'm really looking forward to it. So thanks for being here as always. I'll see you whenever I see you, and if I don't, have a great week. Bye bye. No worries, Kiwi. I'll return tomorrow if you want to watch. And thank you for being here as always. Have a great day.